So here's the problem with satire and media in America right now, and it's not necessarily a problem with the media itself, but rather how it's interpreted. More specifically, it's very poorly interpreted by most men in America, unfortunately. Exhibit A, The Punisher, a very satirical comic book that was written about a guy that's completely unhinged and goes around killing cops. And guess what? Cops love The Punisher because they don't get it. All that they see is a man in power, and they like that. They like the skull logo. They think it's badass, and it's just whoosh, goes right over their head. They completely miss the point, and it's pretty sad that people look at the Punisher as something that they want to be. Exhibit B, the Joker. So many people cherish this guy. They're just so wrapped up in like the poetry of how he speaks and moves, and they just want the respect that is given to the Joker. They just want to be seen and feared. That's all that they really care about. You know, the same thing can be said about Taxi Driver. If you saw the latest Joker movie, which I thought was great, you know, it's pretty much a beat-for-beat remake of Taxi Driver. Another fantastic movie about a horribly deranged psychotic person. People don't get that though. American dudes are so caught up in the aesthetics of it. They just think that the guy looks so badass with his mohawk and his trench coat that they don't even care about the context of what's happening. One more example, Breaking Bad. Spoiler alert for a show that literally everyone watched forever ago. Breaking Bad, it's in the name. It's about Walter White becoming a piece of trash, and by the end of it, he dies, and he had it coming. He's an absolute monster by the end there. Yet, if you go online, the amount of people who place all of the blame solely on his poor wife for nagging or something, I mean, half of that's sexism, but the other half is just people that don't get it. They love, I am Heisenberg, I am the one who knocks. They just think it's so badass that they can't get over that sort of man crush, that affectionate. It's such a really weird hierarchy that so many men have for other men. You know, men respect power regardless, and you shouldn't. I know that goes without saying. It seems pretty obvious, but apparently it's not. Alright, sorry, one more quick example. The Last of Us Part 2, spoiler alert, at the beginning of the game, Joel dies, and the whole reason he dies is because at the end of the last game, he went on an insane killing spree, killing tons of innocent people who were just trying to do their best to help save the world. Men were so attached to Joel, not even men, boys, children on the internet, little boys on the internet were so attached to Joel that when he died, they lashed out at the creators of the game. They freaked out on all the other characters. And it's not necessarily that The Last of Us is satire, it's just, I do think it relates to this issue because it is men and boys latching on to a character and then never letting go and holding them completely precious. They're not able to just step away from the media for a second and think, okay, why is this happening? I do think that this is definitely more of a problem for men than it is for women. You know, they've noticed this trend, this sort of gap in how men interpret media way before I even noticed that something wasn't quite right. Been a bunch of times I'll bring up a show and, you know, someone will be like, oh, well, what's that about? And I always start off, well, it's about this guy, you know, he's a piece of shit, but you know, he learns a lesson here or there, or, you know, so-and-so, but instantly I can tell women will tune out. They're sick of seeing these shitty white male protagonists who have a lesson to learn, because 9 times out of 10, the people watching don't learn the lesson.